obviously our biblical foundation is on the Bible. It's in the name. We believe it's God-inspired. But how do we overlook the fact that, we're looking at quotes and scriptures from Paul, who was a murderer, or we're looking at scriptures from David, who was an adulterer, and we like to say, oh, we'll go get our advice from the wisest man on earth. And with Proverbs 7 specifically is the one I'll use as an example, it's Solomon's warning to stay away from an immoral woman. And yet whenever I read later, it's, oh, Solomon, you had 300 wives, 700 concubines that led you astray to worship idolatry before the end.
Okay, here's the problem. It seems like what you're saying is the objection is we can't trust what people say because they're just men and they're sinful. Fair?
Yes.
Okay. Why should I trust what you just said then? Because you're just a man and you're sinful.
This is true.
Yeah. See, the problem is it's really what we call in logic a genetic fallacy. To say that because the source of a statement might be immoral, that you can't trust what the person says. You don't evaluate whether somebody is telling you the truth merely by their reputation. That might go into you judging it, but they may be telling you the truth. So you can't just dismiss what somebody says because they're a sinner. We're all sinners. And if we can't trust what sinners say, we can't trust what anyone says, including what I just said. Do you see the problem? It's self-defeating.
I do.
Okay. So what you need to do is evaluate what people say to see if it has any merit. Now, if you notice, the biblical characters that God chooses are all weak, flawed people like the rest of us. Okay? I mean, why does he pick David? Yeah, David has great qualities, but as you mentioned, he's a liar, adulterer, and a murderer. Gee, I guess there's hope for the rest of us then, right? Why does he pick Peter? Peter says, Lord, I'll never deny you. A little bit later, he denies him 3 times. Right? Well, he can work through imperfect people. He picks Paul, which actually is a great move, because before Paul was a persecutor of the church, he was a dictatorial, dogmatic, defiant doer. After he became a Christian, he was a dictatorial, dogmatic, defiant doer in the other direction. He used that personality and turned it toward a good direction. So God, the only perfect person in history of the world is Jesus. Everybody else God can use, and God gives us the dignity of causality, as Pascal put it, that you can affect time and eternity by what you do every day. God doesn't need us to evangelize. He could evangelize everybody directly if he wanted to, but he allows us the dignity of causality to give us the pleasure of the responsibility of actually affecting time and eternity. So we just can't throw this stuff out because people are sinners. We're all sinners. We have to look at what they said to see if it's really true.